So Xbox, it was just announced they're getting into the old Sony game of raising their prices. Now, you said that there was a price raise in India.
Yeah, it looked like at the beginning of the month.
Okay.
Um,
Wait, well, we're recording this on February 1st, so beginning of January.
Beginning of January,
Cool.
yeah.
Not to be that guy, but to be that guy.
I'm not sure if it was just the Series S. I literally just saw this when I was trying to find the article for
The
the one in Japan.
Yeah.
But I
So,
guess it was, yeah. So in India, it was increased to about $485. The Series X.
okay.
Oh wait, hold on. I don't know. This article's from Game Rant, so take that for whatever it's worth.
Okay. Well,
No, I think this is the Series S.
the Series S is $480.
Right.
I just love the no, this is for the Series S. I'm shocked, and then there's just a pause. Just no, wait.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the thing. So,
this
like,
is
it's something I was gonna bring up. Like, that technically could be right because sometimes there are like really strange price disparities across markets. Um,
yeah, and I don't think India's market is doing particularly well right now.
right. So it that technically could be right. But specifically, this raise that we're talking about that is coming on February 17th is happening in Japan. It's not like as widespread as like when Sony was like, yeah, PS5 is getting a price increase everywhere, basically. Um, but kind of like what you were just touching on, it was somewhat surprising to see. So the Xbox Series X is jumping from $422 to 460. Obviously yen, but converted to U.S. dollars. And the Series S is jumping from 253 to 291. It's interesting because like 250 is pretty much like the going price point of a Series S anymore. Like I don't know if it was ever like an official drop or if it's just constantly on sale for that. But I feel like it was like an official drop, and now I'm sometimes seeing it on sale for 200 even.
Yeah, I think it was like an unofficial official drop.
Right. Yeah. Like it's
It
like
was
yeah, we all understand that this is just what it is now.
right.
Um, but it's interesting that like both of these are increasing, um, but still below uh what like the opening value was in terms of American dollars. And then we kind of went down the rabbit hole a little bit and found that the opening price of like the Series X was $385, I think is what you said.
Yeah, yep, in Japan.
So that's now technically it looks like doing a second jump. Um, but again, I don't understand all the intricacies of how prices fluctuate in other countries. I only understand how it happens, here in America. And typically tech stays, one consistent price and like normally only drops. I feel like pretty rare to see tech increase in price here. Am I crazy?
No, yeah, I mean it's generally the price that it comes in at is the price. I mean, I would say excluding the iPhone, where they are repackaging the same thing with small improvements every year, and and oftentimes increasing the price.
Right. Yeah. That's a good point. Um yeah, I more so I guess meant like PS5 releases at $500. It's only going to be $500 until 3 years later and it's $450, right?
Right.
Uh
The American method is selling it for a much higher price than it should be at the beginning and then going
right.
down.
So yeah, so it could be totally normal and like nobody bats an eye at a jump from 385 to 422 and then from 422 to now 460. It's just like, yeah, that's just how things go. It's just constantly moving and flowing. It's very fluid, um, which as long as it works both ways and it's sometimes fluid in how it comes back down, I think that's pretty nice. But sometimes you just want the heart yearns for what it doesn't have or whatever.
I think we talked about economies and such, like with India. I think the reason it's so expensive is just because of India's economy. Like they're really hurting right now. I don't know, as is a lot of the world, but they're particularly hurting.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Japan is interesting. I never really considered the fact that compared to the US dollar, it was cheaper. So my assumption is they priced it lower to get more people in.
Yeah, and so that's kind of where I wanted to somewhat focus on because I think there's been a consistent talking point that Microsoft and Xbox need to do a better job in like the Japanese market. Um, and so kind of when I first saw it, it was like, ooh, this is bad. Like this is a really like, or this is really bad. I mean, a price increase I don't think is like really ever good technically. But I was thinking like, oh, this is really bad. Like kind of like betraying what I feel like they've been doing really well to like build. But if anything, now that we're like digging into this a little bit, it's like, oh yeah, no, like they were really going for it, and now just like circumstances be what they are, you know, they need to increase it. And again, from my understanding, it seems like this is just like kind of like more normal, and like we're the weird ones. Um, so like at first it felt like a sound the alarms, but if anything, I think this just proves that like no, they're actually committed to it. Like they were, it looks like selling it at like a lower price point and everything to really like get people in and like get them into the Microsoft ecosystem and like go from there.
Yeah, and Microsoft has seen their market share in that market increase. So now I think like, okay, we've got what we need. We need to start making some money on this. So we're gonna raise the price some. We've already got people in the ecosystem. They're signing up for Game Pass. They're buying games, whatever.
Right. Yeah. Um so I don't know. I mean, I definitely think it was worth you know, talking about and I'm curious to see where some people decide to run with this. Um and it's also interesting uh because again, when PlayStation did all their increases, Phil Spencer was pretty adamant that like there weren't going to be increases. And then I think like not too long ago, he somewhat backtracked on that and said like, if it needs to happen, it may happen. Never certainly giving anything like set in stone. Um, so it's interesting that like if the Indian increase like was fairly quiet because we didn't know about it until looking into this. And now it's just simply one country that they're talking about. It'll be interesting to see if others start to pop up or if it's just very circumstantial.
Right.